I've heard a lot of people ask, I already own a nice gaming PC. I don't need a Steam Deck, do I? Or I've also heard, I already own a PC and a Switch. Do I really need a Steam Deck too? Now, these are two distinct questions and they require a bit of investigation before we can come up with a definitive answer. So let's break this down by asking a few questions of our own. What kind of games do you play? Are your favorite games deck compatible? And what if your favorite games aren't supported? So first up, what kind of games do you play on your PC? There are many kinds of PC games. In fact, the PC has the greatest diversity of genres of any platform. You have pretty much any type of game that consoles have, platformers, action, adventure, and more, but then there are also real-time strategies, MOBAs, simulations, and more. Fact is, Steam Deck was designed to play any PC game. The games that are keyboard and mouse driven can be controlled any number of ways, be it with Steam input mapping, the touchpads, virtual menus, gyro controls, the touchscreen, and more. But it also has the traditional controls of a gamepad. Now, to be fair, some experiences are better had using a mouse and keyboard, which the Steam Deck can also accommodate. But most games are just as playable using the Deck's built-in controller as they are on a desktop PC. And don't knock it until you've tried it. I'll admit it, at first glance the Deck doesn't look comfortable to hold or to play, but as soon as I got my hands on it, I was shocked by how it felt. Playing games on Deck feels incredible, even games that you wouldn't think would play well. Games like Command & Conquer 3 or Civilization 6 are titles that I always go back to. But this brings me to my next question. Are your favorite games actually compatible with the Deck? Now, as I mentioned, the Steam Deck is designed to play PC games, but not all PC games are compatible with the Deck. And this is because Steam Deck ships with SteamOS, and SteamOS is based on Linux. And that stands in stark contrast with Windows, which has been the default standard for PC gaming for decades. So if Steam Deck has Linux installed by default, how does it play Windows games? Well, Valve has developed Proton, a built-in Windows compatibility layer that, again, is optimized and built for gaming. Proton is fantastic, and it allows the vast majority of Windows games to work on SteamOS or other flavors of Linux. But unfortunately, this also means that there are some Windows games that simply won't work. For example, there are many online shooters that don't yet support Steam Deck. And I'm not going to name names here because this is constantly changing, and there's a good chance that by the time you're watching this, your favorite is already supported. To check if your favorite games are compatible, go to your Steam library, find your game, and then go to its store page. From here, on the right column, scroll down until you see the Steam Deck compatibility section. You can see which criteria Valve have used to rank its compatibility on Deck. You can also check out your full library's compatibility by heading over to store.steampowered.com/steamdeck/mygames and logging in from there. This is a convenient way to see your Steam library and have it broken down into games that are compatible or not. But keep in mind that not all games have been ranked yet, so they may be marked as untested. Furthermore, Valve's strict standards on what is considered playable on Deck might mean that games with only minor issues, like on-screen text being too small, might be marked as unsupported. So what if my favorite game is unsupported? Well, there are many games that Valve ranks as unsupported, which are actually playable. A good example of this is Halo Master Chief Collection. While you can launch the game without Easy Anti-Cheat enabled, the default option includes it and won't let you play online. And even though the single-player campaign works without issue, Valve has categorized it as unplayable. So how can you tell what games will actually work? Well, there are resources that can help you figure it out. For example, you can head over to protondb.com to learn more about compatibility of your favorite games with Linux, and thereby the Steam Deck. You can also check out areweanticheatyet.com, which catalogs online multiplayer games and if they support anti-cheat solutions for Steam Deck. But what if your favorite game really, truly isn't compatible with Deck? What then? Comes to worst and you already have a gaming PC, you can simply stream your games from your PC to your Deck. This might seem a little weird at first, right? I mean, if you have your PC on, just play your PC. But the experience of playing a handheld just can't be beat in my book. And the latency with in-home streaming is next to nothing, so why wouldn't you? But on the other hand, if one or two of your favorite games don't work on Deck, I'm imagining that you, like the majority of PC gamers, have an extensive backlog of games. If you've given in to one of Gaben's glorious holiday sales with 10, 20, or let's be honest, many more games that you've bought but never played, you know the ones I'm talking about, well, Steam Deck might be the ideal opportunity for you to play through some of those titles. Now, if you were exclusively a PC gamer, I can understand your hesitation about moving away from your desktop. There's a high likelihood that you, as a PC gamer, have spent good money on your setup. So how could a $400 handheld even compare? At the risk of alienating some folks, I personally have 4 highly capable gaming PCs, not counting the 2 Steam Decks we own. 3 of them are capable of playing games at 4K 120Hz. Yet it would not be an exaggeration to say that I would rather play my games on deck. The question is why? And it's because I spend all day, every single day, sitting right here getting work done at my desktop. And when I'm done work, I don't want to be sitting here to play games trying to relax. So I head out to my living room, I sit down on my sofa, and I pick up my Steam Deck. I could boot up my living room PC and bust out the wireless keyboard or launch big picture mode, but I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be sitting 10 feet away from the screen. I don't want to fiddle with settings or wait to have game updates because I haven't booted up my PC in a month. Besides, I'd rather have a show going on the TV that Emily and I can enjoy together while we play games. So we end up both being on our Steam Decks, or sometimes Emily's playing her Switch, while watching a show. Now, I also own a Switch, and I have a ton of games for Switch. Every single one of them I overpaid for. Several of them I already owned on Steam, but I had no choice to buy it again because I wanted to play it in a handheld form factor. And that brings me to my last point. If you're a PC gamer who also owns a Switch, you're in for a treat with the Steam Deck. Can you play your Steam library on Switch? No, you can't. Like I said, I rebought games on Switch that I already had in my Steam library. But if you have a Steam Deck, you can play most of your games right on your sofa, the most comfortable seat in most people's houses, and it's so refreshing to not be stuck at my PC, but continuing to have the PC gaming experience. And that's really what all of this is about. Steam Deck gets me out of the office and into the living room with my partner. We can play games together, and it's kind of like a childhood dream come true for me. Everyone in the house with a high-end consoleized PC in the palm of our hands, able to play competitively or cooperatively on their own screens. So, should you buy a Steam Deck? That's really going to be up to you to decide. But I can tell you that as someone who works way too much, relaxing with Spelunky at the end of the day was always something that I wanted to do. But when sitting at my computer, I just couldn't bring myself to enjoy. I always wanted to be working instead. But with my Steam Deck, playing a game is something I do almost every night. The Steam Deck has changed my relationship with my Steam library. It is so easy to pick up, but it's also easy to set down. I can play for a minute, or I can play for several hours. It is the best of both worlds, the freedom of a PC with the best of what consoles can offer. And I can take virtually my entire library of games with me on the internal SSD and a 1TB SD card. It's not hyperbole for me to say that the Steam Deck has changed my relationship with gaming. And that is a truly wonderful thing. But I would like to know what you think. Are you a PC gamer who's on the fence about buying a Steam Deck, or have you picked one up and have a lot to say? Leave me a comment and let me know. I would love to hear from you. I want to give a special shout out to my friends on Patreon and my YouTube members who make what I do here possible. It's because of these fine folks that I've been able to build up this show into what it's become today. And fun fact, all these folks, they get a preview of this video weeks before it goes out for everyone else. If you believe in what I'm doing here and you want to help this show continue to grow, why not use the links below to become a Steam Deck warrior? And thanks. That's going to do it for now though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.